It's the Ruben Jay show. Ruben Jay here in the studio. Excited for this conversation here. Every now and then I find myself scrolling on TikTok, and let me just adjust the cameras real quick here because I have the wrong camera setting. Here we go. This is what I like. This is TikTok friendly. For anyone who watches the video, you'll see what just happened here. I'm not going to start over. I'm just going to keep going. Every now and then I find myself scrolling on TikTok, and every so often TikTok will recommend a live video for you to watch. And most of the times I just skip it because I'm like, whatever. It's just another person battling or doing whatever. But every so often you find somebody who has a guitar or they're behind their keys and they're playing music and they're singing. And it's usually a mixed bag. It's either really, really good or really, really bad. It's hardly ever in between. And I was on TikTok probably about a month ago or so, and my guest was performing some country songs, and I had to stop and listen because it was that good. So, welcome to the Ruben J Show, Miss Kaylyn Sahs. Kaylyn, welcome.
Thank you so much, Ruben. Thank you.
I'm excited to be chatting with you because I'm an old man uh, relative to TikTok and what social media is these days. I grew up with YouTube being the big way that people made it in the music industry. Like it was like
Yes.
American Idol was a thing for a while, and then
Yes.
YouTube.
Uh-huh.
Now it's TikTok. Like if you can go viral on TikTok, you can make a good living putting music out and all that stuff. And you're the second artist that I've gotten from TikTok to say yes to a podcast.
That's
Back in
awesome.
the day, it used to be that YouTubers were begging to be on a podcast or radio show.
Mhm.
Um, and so thank you for doing that. And I want to start out this conversation because I don't know you from Adam. I read a little bit of your bio, but I know nothing about you except that you play some
Mhm.
great music. You've released some good music as well. So I want to start in the beginning. Like, what got you into country music? Because I feel like these days, in order to get into country music, your mom or dad had to have gotten you into country music. So,
Yeah.
what got you into country music? And tell me a little bit more about like your origin of playing music.
Yeah, so I grew up listening to a very wide variety of music. My dad loves just about everything. But we did listen to country, and when I started this, so I started back in 2016. I had just graduated from high school, and I was trying to figure out what to do with my life, and I just really felt called to do music. I felt like I'd been given this gift and that I want to use it. And so, but it's crazy how the journey has transformed because starting out, I was just starting to write songs too in 2016, and so I was trying to figure out like where I fit as an artist, and I ended up recording like a 5-song record in Omaha, Nebraska, where I'm from, and it was kind of like this more R&B feel to it, honestly. And I think after that, it was when I was like, no, like this isn't what I'm going for. I really feel like country, pop country, like that is where I fit. And so it's like all the pieces came together, especially from growing up and just like being influenced by it as well. So it is crazy how it's transformed. But when I made that decision, it was like everything just kind of started falling into place. It was like, okay, this is where I fit in, this is where I belong. So,
You have, I was listening to some of your original music earlier, and then on I think it was Thursday night you were on TikTok and you were playing some covers, and I was listening to your voice and I just like, man, this she has like the perfect sound for country. Like you could probably pull off some rock and roll. You'd probably do well in pop, but your tone is it just screams like it's a modern version of like if you take a little bit of Dolly Parton, a little bit of old school Taylor Swift, and
mhm.
maybe maybe when Kelly Clarkson does a little bit of her country and you mix it all together, that's kind of what I hear in your voice.
Thank you.
I'm also tone deaf, so I don't know if that tells you, but so that's what I was thinking of as I was listening to this music. Did you have anybody kind of guide you in that direction, or was it just simply this just feels right for me? This going down this country road feels a little bit more, no pun intended, feels a little bit more appropriate for what I like and how I feel.
Yeah, and my mentor he taught me how to play guitar. So in 2016, I was like, I played piano before, but I was like, I can't just like take my keyboard to gigs, you know? I was like, it's a lot heavy. I mean, I can, but I was like, I really want to learn guitar. And so he ended up teaching me, and I feel like he also influenced me as well. Like, kind of helped affirm that decision too. He was like, yes, like this is where you belong. And I think I just needed someone to say, like, yes or something, like just to help affirm it. So
Yeah, for sure. I totally get that. And I think that, a lot of time, and actually I'm working with somebody, not working, I shouldn't say working. It's not an official like working relationship, but it's like it's another TikTok person who I'm planning on interviewing down the line.
yeah,
And um, you know, the thing with people assume that like if just because you're on TikTok that you have a team of people who are guiding you and like, directing every decision and helping you. And some people do, and some people, their parents jump in and help. And, sometimes they'll have a friend that kind of helps book stuff or whatever. But, this person has nobody to bounce ideas off of. So they
yeah,
started bouncing ideas off of me. And I'm like, yeah, I'll totally like call me anytime. Like I'm totally like I'm down for that. I love doing it. But it's interesting how outside voices can sometimes help you make a decision one way or
yes,
another, you know and so with you, I saw a video recently that you went and you went back to high school and
yes.
you surprised your high school music teacher. And I didn't watch the whole video because I was literally getting ready to order food. But
Yeah.
I saw it and I was like, oh, this is interesting. It's really cool. And I loved seeing her reaction to just
Mhm.
seeing you in what I'm assuming was the stage of of the high school.
Yes.
And that outside influence obviously meant a lot to you. What other influences helped you kind of create this love for music that you have? Because it's it takes a village sometimes to get people to where they're at, especially when it comes to stuff like creative talent and vocal talent and guitar. Obviously, your mentor taught you how to play guitar. So,
Yeah.
what other outside people helped you get to where you're at?
Yeah, it's if I look back, so my mentor, his name's Clint Whitney, and he was the first person that, like, I was 4 years old, and my dad, he heard me singing in my room, and I was, like, singing through this Fisher Price tape recorder, and he was like, "Oh my gosh," like, he pulled my mom aside and was like, "I think she can sing." And my mom, she's not a singer, so she didn't really know, but my dad kinda has some musical background, he can sing a little bit, and so, he ended up taking me to our church. So my mentor, Clint, was the worship leader at our church at the time, and so my dad just had me sing for him and was just like, "Can you just tell us if, like, she can?" And I sang, and he was like, "Oh, yeah. Yeah, she can." And so then he put me on stage when I was 4. So that was a huge piece of it. And then I think my music teachers over the years, like elementary school, trying out for solos, stuff like that. And then getting to high school, my music teacher, we call her Doc. She has her doctorate in music, and so we ended up just calling her that. And I'm trying to think of like who else too. I think it's like also when I started, there were people that would come alongside. One of my guitar players who started out with me, his name's Todd Campbell, and he just kind of took me under his wing and was just like there to help. So it's just like things like that.
I
So
love that. Love that. Yeah, I look back at my, you know, just influences for what I do, and the person that comes to mind is my theater teacher who just recently passed away,
oh,
but he like I was never good at anything. Like I wasn't like I could play guitar, I could play the G, C, D, E, the basic 4 chords, and I can play for other people. Um, I was able to hold a tune at one point, and now I can't. I was
dang.
never. Oh, yeah, no, right? Uh, if you ever need a backup vocalist, I'm there. I will
All
be there.
right.
It will. I will both blind people and make people go deaf with the sound of my voice. But and I did theater, and I was never really good at like acting. The one thing I was really good at was talking, and my theater teacher helped me kind of
Yeah.
hone in like some of this skills right here. And it was like, it's good to have that outside, and also have the outside perspective saying like, no, you can't sing, or no, you can't play guitar, or no, dude, just go work at McDonald's for the rest of your life because that's literally all that you're going to be able to do. And it's interesting to see how instrumental like high school teachers are
Yes.
to our development. And I think, and if I don't know if you went to college or not, but sometimes even going into the college cycle is like can be a real good development for young people. So
Yeah, definitely.
when did you realize that not only can you sing, but you can also put together good songs, because like I used to sit down and like think that I was writing like good songs back in the day, and then I would like come back to them like 3 days later and be like, oh my god, this is trash. When did you realize that like, hey, I actually can do this?
Yeah, actually 2016. So when I was 10 or 11, my grandpa passed away from cancer, and I found an outlet. I started writing this song, and I showed it to my friend on the playground, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, like this is so good. Like you need to sing this at the talent show and all this." I'm like, "No, like I'm not doing that. No." And but she had said like, do you want to be a singer? Like is that something that you want to do?" And I was like, "I mean, that'd be cool, but like I don't know if I actually could do it because I'm 10, and I don't really know. All I have is like Disney Channel to look at that point. But then so flash forward to 2016, I was like, "Oh, I'm doing this." I made the decision and I just started writing, and it grew over time. Like the more songs that I would write, like the first song, oh gosh, like I did record it and it was on my 5-song record that I released in like 2018. I don't even have it online anymore because my sound has changed so much. But I think it just like it kept growing. I was like, okay, this song is just like not good. But I was like, okay, but I can just keep going. And then I would meet other writers too and get together with them and just try to exercise that muscle more with other people. And so I think I ended up, there was one song I wrote, it's called Starstruck. And I remember after writing that, I was like, okay, I feel like we're getting somewhere with this. So
Is Starstruck something that have you released that?
yeah, I did. It's one of my older ones. I don't play it anymore, but yeah.
I think we need to get people who go to your shows to just start screaming, "Play Starstruck!"
Starstruck.
Play
Oh my gosh.
I do that. I have a bunch of friends in the business, and I'll go to their shows and I'll be like, I'll just start screaming, "Play an Alter Bridge song," which is my favorite band. And we went to an Alter Bridge show like a month ago, and I just ran with these friends, and I randomly shout out, "Play an Alter Bridge song" at the Alter Bridge concert, and everyone who wasn't in on the jokes just looked around at me like, "Dude, are you
Wait, what?
stupid?" It was a very fulfilling moment for me.
That's awesome.
So that first record that you released that's no longer available online.
Right.
How do I get a hold of this album?
You can't.
So you won't even do like a besties hookup here and like be like, here,
No.
copy this.
So I don't even have any more copies, I don't think, of it. Well,
Copies.
you there might be like a couple music videos still on YouTube. I mean, not trying to like show you this music, but it's just like it's crazy how far you can come like as you keep that consistency, as you keep figuring out who you are as an artist and what you love. Like for me, I'm kind of the type of person that's like I like having people around me to be like do this, do that, and I'm like, okay, yes, I know what I'm doing. But really learning to find my own in it, I think that's also been the coolest part of it. Like coming to country and being like, yes, this is what I love, and like finding out what I love and like trying to explain that in the studio too. Like and also just like learning how to I think learning that my voice is important, that this art is important, and
Mm.
that it's good to speak up. Like no one will fight for this if I don't. And so that's probably the biggest thing that I've learned over the last 7 years of doing this now. So
Yeah, it's interesting to me because I look at people like Taylor Swift, who I'm not a fan of. I don't like Taylor Swift's music. I really don't. There's nothing about Taylor Swift's music that I like, and I'm gonna get so many people coming after me for that. But it's okay.
Everyone has an opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I have a microphone and a podcast, and I get to tell my opinion. If you don't like it, Well, you should listen to next week's episode where I have a different opinion. But the one thing that I've learned from Taylor Swift that I like to iterate to people, especially people who are young women trying to come up in the music business, is like, take control of your career. Like, don't allow other people, like, yes, have people that you listen to and you bounce ideas off of, and help you write music or help you finalize it, or whatever the situation is. But at the end of the day, like, you're not going to be the artist you want to be unless you take ownership over the decisions that you're making.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I guarantee you that there are people back when she started going more pop that were telling her, what are you doing?
Yeah.
This is not what brought you to the dance.
Mm.
Like, we made millions of dollars off of you playing country music poorly. And now you're going to go and do this pop thing. And then she becomes the biggest pop star in the world.
Yes.
So have that intuition is what I like to tell people. Now I know your bio mentioned some people that you just like to kind of follow and kind of take inspiration from, but can you share a little bit more of the people who are in the business today, the big names that people will know of, that inspire you today, whether it be from a writing perspective or even just a business perspective?
Yes. Yeah. So, I grew up listening to Carrie Underwood. I saw
Love
her on
Carrie.
American Idol. Yes. And I love that she's not only insanely talented, but also she has been so consistent over the years personally. And I value that too. Cause I'm like, yeah, it's one thing if you're a good singer, but if you aren't like a great person to be around, like talent can only get you so far. And character is a huge part of it. And so I just really look up to her as a person and as an artist. Keith Urban, I've just always loved his music. I've always loved like a good guitar, and he just
Yes.
plays so well. Um, and then I listened to Dolly Parton growing up. I'm trying to think what else. But then also on the business side as well, I don't know if you've ever heard of Ben Rector.
Mhm.
So my sister ended up finding him like 10 years ago or something like that, and she showed me his music, and I was like, oh, like he's really good. He's got that singer songwriter vibe, and he's really built this incredible music platform. And like I think he was independent for a long time. He still might be independent, I'm not for sure, but I've just always valued how real of a person that he is. He's so genuine, he's hilarious, like great personality. And he's just really built what he has independently. And so I'm just like, wow, for a person to be that driven to do it is incredible. So I really value that. And I know Need to Breathe, I don't know if you've heard of that band too, but they were a very similar, like they were a band for many years and still are, obviously, but just when they started, they were grinding and grinding and grinding, and then now they're like a pretty big name. So it's just really cool to see, and just to have those examples too.
Yeah, I love seeing. So first of all, the one thing I gotta ask you about Carrie Underwood here in a second, but the one thing that I love about each of those people that you mentioned, at least from my experience, is that they're down to earth people that have every right to not be down to earth.
Yeah.
Like I've had the privilege of working with each of those. Well, Keith Urban and Carrie Underwood briefly,
Wow.
and uh, both of those people, I tell my girlfriend now, I said, Blake Shelton, Keith Urban, Carrie Underwood, and a couple other people, they have the rights to be divas and rock stars and like tell people, no, I don't want to talk to you. But they go above and beyond for the people that they're working with.
Yes.
So I want to ask you about Carrie Underwood because her last record I was not a fan of, Denim and Rhinestones.
Yes. Okay.
Not a huge fan of it, except it felt like it was trying to do the Taylor Swift thing where you go from being like this real badass, like Carrie Underwood, like she to me epitomizes, I call her the modern queen of country.
Yeah.
On my radio show that is no longer coming out, but I would call her, this is the modern queen of country music. Like she's
Yes.
put out badass country music, and if she was going to pivot to anything, I would say go pivot and do rock and roll.
Yeah.
Because she's done some of that on her shows, and
Yes. And I saw a video. It was crazy. Yeah.
Was it the Walk This Way one with?
Yes.
Oh my god!
It
Like
was so good.
it made Steven Tyler look amateur. That's how good it was. But she was in a hurry because she had to go perform on American Idol, and they
Mm.
were pulling her off the red carpet. And I stopped her for a second, and she full stopped, gave me her 100% attention, and talked with me for like a good like 2 or 3 minutes. You
Wow.
know, but like didn't let anyone else tell her that she had to go somewhere or be someplace or do something. She took control of the moment, and she could have easily said, "I got to go," and I would have been like, "I understand. It's American Idol. You're Carrie Underwood. Like, you call the shots." But she stopped for a little unknown, wannabe reporter and talked to me, and I
Mm.
didn't even press record. That's how nervous I was. But I love that. And Keith Urban was the same way. Keith Urban, like it was like 5 minutes before Idol was supposed to be on the air, and this is
Yeah.
when he was a judge, and his publicist is pulling him, and I just shouted, "Hey Keith, can I talk to you about Cop Car?" And he does a full 180, turns around and says, "Yes, let's talk about Cop Car."
Oh my gosh. That's
And gave me
awesome.
full interview. Like it was a quick interview, but gave me a full interview. And that one I did get.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes.
so I learned from my mistake. It was actually the same night, which is funny. But um,
Wow.
what were your thoughts? I'm just curious. What were your thoughts on Carrie Underwood's latest record? Because I'm just curious.
Well, so I just love Carrie, so I think it was the Denim and Rhinestones. I will, like, jam to that in my
Okay.
car, not gonna lie, like, on repeat. But it is so much different. I think what was it? Cry Pretty? Was that the one before Denim and Rhinestones
I think that was a single. I think that
single?
was a
Okay,
single off the record.
'cause she had a record, I remember listening to it, and that's when, like,
Oh,
the
no, you're
sound
right. You're right.
really changed. It was like, "Oh, wow, this is, like, pop. This is different." So I think her releasing that one and then this one, it was like it wasn't a shocker to me. And I think also that's kind of I don't know if that's what the industry is doing right now, where artists who have been doing it for a while, kind of like Taylor Swift, where you kind of venture out and you can do whatever you want at that point.
Mm,
But I just love her original country sound.
mhm.
To me, that's the best. But I mean, I love her, so I'm like, okay, whatever you do. Like, yeah.
I know she's prepping for a new record this year.
Okay.
I think it's this year or next year she's coming out with a new record. I'm gonna be curious to see what she does because
Yes.
I heard an interview recently. I think it was an interview on Stern where she mentioned that she's back in the studio and that she's doing. I think she's taking control of her situation,
Oh,
which
wow. Okay.
I think will be great.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's interesting just to kind of see the music industry where it's gone the last like 15 years because it used to really be that like if you were an artist you wanted to be on a label and the label kind of controlled everything,
Yeah.
and more you're seeing people take on this new business model of you being your own record label and then licensing the music out to distributors, which is an interesting concept because then you pay for the record. You pay for the record, you put the record out, like you produce it, you come up with all the artwork and everything, and then you just license it out. You get a licensing fee typically, and they put it out, and you get to control the process from start to finish. And it's like, oh, so these big artists are starting to do what all these YouTube stars did for many years, and what TikTok stars are starting to do these days is control the music. And so I
Yeah.
want to dive deeper into your creative process here.
Yeah.
Like your most recent single came out last year called
Mhm.
Rodeo. I want to know about your writing process because like I said, I can't write to save my life. Like if somebody came to me and said, "Hey, there's a sniper across the street. You have to write a decent song or
Yeah.
you're gonna be dead." I'm just gonna be like, "Just shoot me now." Um, because it's just gonna be a waste of my time to even try.
Yeah.
What's your process? How do you start with a song? Do you have the melody first and then try to figure it out? The music portion of it. Is it music then lyrics? Is it combination of the three? Tell me a little bit more about how you write your music.
Yeah. I like having a good title. I like starting out with that. And but sometimes things will happen organically though. Like I'll just get an idea and I'll just sit down with my guitar and just kind of start playing some things and try to get a good feel of just what's in my brain, I guess, and try to articulate that on the guitar. And then, but then sometimes I'll just have like a melody idea and I'll already know exactly what to play. So sometimes it starts with the music, sometimes it starts lyrically and melodically. And then sometimes it's like, this is a good title. I just want to sit down with some of my favorite writers and just write this out. So that will happen too.
So when you start with the title, because if I were ever to be a songwriter, I think that's the route that I would go with, because I tend to come up with good titles for stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, just the name of this podcast alone, the Ruben Jay Show. I mean, that's just that's one of a kind title right there.
It is one of a
kind. And so that's the route that I would probably, like, if I were to be a songwriter, would be like, all right, I have this title. How do I make it into a song? So let's just say you have a song title in mind. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's just for the sake of it, let's just call it Paper Straws. That's the song title that you have in your head. Tell me a little bit more about how you would turn Paper Straws into a song.
Yeah. I would start thinking about that exactly. And also maybe like symbolically, I don't know what it could mean. Like the setting of it, like where would you have a paper straw? You'd have it at a restaurant, and most likely like California, because here in Nebraska we don't have paper straws. They give us plastic.
Shots fired.
So not that there's anything wrong with paper straws, but
there's a lot of things wrong with paper straws.
I don't like them. They disintegrate in your drink. So, I would think about that too. And just like, yeah, just like kind of the deeper meaning, I guess, if you can go much deeper with a paper straw, but yeah.
So let me if you're cool with this, we can edit this out if it totally fails.
Oh my gosh.
But I want to play a game.
Okay.
That I just came up with on the top of my head. Okay. I'm going to give you a scenario. And I want you, to the best of your abilities, just to come up with what's the word? God, what's the word I'm thinking of? A hook.
Okay, yeah.
For paper straws. Okay. And it's a first date. You're at the local milk shop, a milkshake shop, the milkshake, and things are going great.
Yeah.
You're a little nervous. And you have a paper straw. Can you come up with a couple of lines on the spot?
Okay. Let's see. Now I'm overthinking it.
No, don't overthink it. Let's just have fun.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay.
If it doesn't work out, we'll cut it out.
Like sitting at the corner booth. Like at the local milk shop, sitting across from you. I don't know. Oh my gosh. This is awful.
To be fair, I did pick a very hard scenario to
right.
If it was chasing sunsets, that's an easy thing. But like paper straws, like there's a straw right in front of me, which is how I got the word straws.
Yeah, I love that. No, but it's good because I'm like, okay, I gotta just be ready for anything, honestly. So
I should have told you that. Just an FYI, in the future, if I ever ask you to do an interview, I have I'll come up with random stuff on the spot sometimes. Just
no.
like what makes you think there'll be a second interview?
Right. No.
You put me on the spot, never again.
No, I love it because it's like you just gotta you and what I've learned in this business too is just you have to be ready for that. You have to be ready to put yourself out there. And if you look like a fool, who cares? Like who cares? So
we're keeping it in.
What'd you say?
We're gonna keep it in then. We're not editing it out.
Okay.
And your fans are gonna hate me. They're gonna be like, how dare he? And I'm gonna be like, how dare I?
Oh gosh.
So you what I like about what you do on TikTok is you bring in your audience. You make them part of the show. You make them part of what you're doing, even if they're not able to really interact outside of a comment. How how long did it take you to get comfortable with a TikTok live? Because most people I know who are about your age are mortified about the idea of doing anything live.
Yeah.
So, and seeing you being kind of comfortable doing it, it's really interesting. So how long did it take you to get comfortable with that concept?
Well, thank you, first of all. Um, so I started doing lives 3 months ago, I think.
Love it.
Yeah. So I had somebody encouraged me. They're like, to really grow, you got to do lives.
Mhm.
Um, that's what they had noticed. And so I was like, okay, that did scare me because I was like, oh my gosh, like during COVID, I did Facebook and Instagram lives. I did like living room concerts.
Love it.
But I think I plugged in equipment, but it wasn't going through the phone. Like it was just like through a speaker, and then the phone would pick up the speaker. And so it wasn't very professional, but I was like, I think people just want music at this point. So
Yeah.
I had some experience with that, but then 3 months ago, it was like go on TikTok, and I was like, oh my gosh, people are so honest on TikTok. I was like, this will be good. I think this will be good for me. And so I got a setup. I had a friend help me. And just get like an interface, get a mic, get lighting, just a simple backdrop. And so the first live, I kind of treated it like a show, like I would live. And so I had to realize that it's a little bit different. I know I'm still interacting with people in a live setting, like in person, but it's just a little bit different because you have to keep TikTok engaged. You have to keep them watching as long as possible. And so the first live that I did, I was like, okay, well, that wasn't too bad. But then the second live that I did, it was like, oh, like this isn't very good. Like I wasn't interacting with them as much. And so I just had to acknowledge, like, okay, TikTok is different.
Mhm.
But it's been so good because I think that how I've interacted with people on TikTok, it also translates into the live setting too. Like maybe I'm interacting with people a little bit more. So it just helped as each live I was like, okay, that was a little bit better. And like one live I had like 8 people watching probably consistently for the hour that I was on, and I was like, 8 people, it's still 8 people. I was like, it doesn't matter how many, you keep going and you give them the best that you have. And so I just was like, okay, we're going to keep this going. And I started just talking to them more, and then more people would start to watch and they'd watch longer. I also did like some challenge type stuff like, can I eat sour candy and then sing? Or can I eat spicy food and then sing? And so I think that helped to grow it a little bit because it was different. It was like, oh, like let's watch this. Like I'm just curious. So I haven't done one of those in a while. After it's really grown, I was like, okay, well, tell me what you want me to sing, and then people will request, and it's like it's at that point now where I can't really get to every request.
Yeah.
So, which is awesome. I'm like, I want to play the song for everyone, but it's awesome that enough people are on and they want to hear, they're able to request. So,
Yeah. So I have a follow-up real quick on the spicy food challenge.
yeah.
So California spicy is a lot different from Omaha, Nebraska spicy.
Yes.
So
So
what
what
was
is spicy for you? Like,
like okay, so I'm Mexican. So like spicy for me is like it has to be really spicy for me to actually be like, "Oh my god, this is actually kind of hot."
yeah.
So like give me a good habanero pepper.
Oh my gosh.
That's where it's like, okay, you start seeing me tear up a little bit. But like I'm the person that I'll go and get, tacos and burritos or whatever, and I will drench it in hot sauce.
Okay.
It's for me, it's flavor more so than
Yes.
heat. Every now
Yeah.
and then you get the heat. What what was the spicy food of choice for this challenge?
I got a pad thai and I had the spice level. Okay, but so my parents and I we had dinner and we were having pad thai, and my mom ordered like a spice level 4, and it was really spicy. Like it was, I don't think it was a 4. That's the thing. I wish you would have tried it or something just to tell me if it was spicy or not. And then we ordered it again, and it was like, or maybe it was a level 3, honestly. And we ordered it again. It was not spicy at all. So I was like, how is this varying. And so I had to do the live, and I was like, all I have is this not spicy. So I put Tabasco sauce on it because that's all I had. And someone was like, no, not Tabasco sauce. Yeah, it didn't go as well as I thought.
I'm gonna send you a hot sauce.
Oh my gosh.
Because if Tabasco is the level that we're using as spicy,
Uh-huh. Is that
actually,
even spicy to you?
so it has a. So here's the thing: it's not spicy to me. It
It's
just the
just
vinegar in it just has a little kick.
yes.
Um. So, but again, in Omaha, Nebraska, that is probably like call the fire department.
The
You
one
know.
that you're gonna send me probably is, yeah. No.
Yeah. So the problem is I don't want to kill you. So
I'll
um
just be wise with it.
maybe I'll just send you some like extra like flaming hot Cheetos. And
Yeah,
that will be
that's
like
perfect.
a normal spice level.
Yeah, I could just
So
do that for a TikTok.
there you go. Just eat some hot Cheetos. And so how
Uh-huh.
were you able to sing pretty decently with whatever spice level you had?
Yeah, it was fine. The first time
But
I
not
did the
spicy enough.
it wasn't. No, honestly, I'll tell you it wasn't. And then which is saying something because it doesn't take much for me. Yeah. Yeah, I cannot handle as much. But with the sour candy, the first time that I did it, honestly, so I had a sour warhead. I had to like chew it first because I was like, I'm not singing with this. I'm gonna choke. So I finished it and I started singing and I had to stop the song because I was gonna cough. I was like, I need water. Okay, this is
Oh my
harder than
god.
I thought. So it was harder than I thought. I was not expecting that. So
Yeah, I think like sour like that's universal for the most part. Like
yeah,
you're gonna find sour candy no matter what. Spicy, I think, is where you have some interesting challenge. So, do you have any
yes.
plans to come out to California?
I would love to. I know that we're trying to reach out to like Texas and to California and start getting some shows. I have a friend who lives out in California in San Diego area. She is a guitar player. She's amazing. But she played in my band when she lived here and she ended up moving back there like 2 years now. I think it's been 2 years since she moved back. So I'm trying to go visit her too and also like get some shows booked. So
Yeah, for sure. So
mhm.
let's do this. If you make it out to California, uh, let's do a TikTok live, mainly so I can hopefully steal some of your audience. Uh, but let's do a TikTok live, and we'll do a real spicy food
Oh my
challenge.
gosh. Okay.
We'll go, and if it's down in San Diego, there's some good. You like fish tacos?
Sure. I haven't really had I don't know
Do you
if
like
I've
fish?
actually. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll find some good fish tacos down in San Diego, which is like
Okay.
there's a ton of great fish taco places down there, and then I'll bring some homemade hot sauce.
Oh my gosh. I might die.
And
No.
we'll go straight on TikTok live, and
Okay.
we'll do a challenge.
Okay.
We'll
That
do a
sounds
challenge,
good.
and that's what we're gonna do. And so we need your audience
Yes.
to also follow me, so that I
Yes.
can also go live on TikTok at the same time because TikTok doesn't like me. So uh,
Why?
I'm just stuck at like 200 followers on TikTok. Like all my other social medias are
Really?
growing, but TikTok for some reason I can't do
I
it. So,
I feel like TikTok is very difficult and it's been harder than I thought. So I started trying to post every single day and I've been really consistent. There's a couple days that I've missed, but I thought for sure TikTok like that's the place, like it's going to take off and really it really hasn't. There's one video with my dad and we did like this 80s rock music challenge and
I saw that.
probably because yeah, 80s is way more versatile, I think nation worldwide. And so yeah, so that ended up doing really well. It has like 700,000 views. But also like you have to just keep going and also learn. I actually watched an interview that you did with the other TikTok star, and I cannot remember her name.
Uh, was it Corinne?
Yeah, I think.
Was it one or was it two?
I can't remember. But she was talking about how it's not about the views. Like she had to learn like not
Oh
to
yeah,
really
yeah,
pay attention to that. And
yeah.
so
That was
I loved listening to that too, just to keep that groundedness of it's not about the views. It's about the people really. And
mm,
so just trying not to get discouraged too if it doesn't really take off right now, but something will, if you
Oh yeah.
keep going, hopefully. Yeah.
So here's just, I've been doing this for 15 years. So I'll give you a little bit of advice on the content creation side of things. Um, a lot of times what you think is going to work isn't going to work,
Right.
and what you think won't work will work.
Yes.
It's just it's the most bizarre thing of what's gonna take off. And I'll tell you what's really hot right now is YouTube Shorts.
Yes, and I've been doing that too.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're
Yeah.
not doing YouTube Shorts, get on YouTube Shorts. And
Yes.
the bigger thing too is to record your content outside of any app. So just on your phone, edit it in whatever editing software you do, and then upload it to each individual platform.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't go to Instagram and then download it from Instagram and upload it everywhere else. Because for some reason the technology knows. It's really
Yes.
scary how the technology knows, but it will know that it's from a different platform and it will suppress your content. So just
Yes. And
keep
that's
that
what
in
I've been doing too, uploading to each platform. Yeah.
mind. Yeah. And it's what sucks though. The only thing that sucks is that they all have different time limits. So like
Yes.
TikTok, for a TikTok vertical video, it can be up to I think 10 minutes now for some
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
But YouTube Shorts, it's 1 minute. Instagram is 90 seconds. And
Yes.
it's like I like to do. I actually edited a video last night of trying this new Wetzel's concept out here, and the final product was 3 minutes long. Like now I have to get this down to 90 seconds for Instagram, and
Right.
then get it down to a minute for YouTube. I'm like, how am I supposed to do
Yes.
this?
Yes,
Uh,
I feel that. I feel that so much. Yeah.
I think it's easier though for songs because you can just take a shorter portion of the song, and it really, no offense to
Yeah.
musicians, it doesn't take away so much as, and actually it probably will hook people in to actually go and find the full version of it, which is what I've done a lot of. When it comes to like stuff like food review or like doing more scripted stuff, it's like you need the full 3 minutes to really tell a story.
Yes. That's true. Yeah.
So let's talk about a little bit more about what you got planned coming up, because I'm curious as to what it looks like for you, because every musician's different. And I love it. The traditional artists are releasing a couple singles and then an album. The newer up and coming generation seem to be releasing one song every couple of months
Mhm.
and try to get that to go popular, and eventually they'll release a collection of sorts. Where do you stand on the release model for releasing music?
Right. I honestly don't know when I'll be releasing another song. But I do have songs that are not recorded yet, finished songs. And so, yeah, it's kind of just waiting it out just a little bit, and start making some of those plans. But I know for sure I am going to get in the studio and record. I just don't know when yet.
So Paper Straws will be out this fall.
Oh, yes. I'm sure I could do something with it.
You know what's funny is if it comes out in like 3 years, uh, and it becomes a hit, I will sue you.
But what if I, like, gave you some of it?
Oh, then of course, no
Okay,
lawsuit needed.
okay.
I'm
Sounds
gonna
good.
I'm gonna keep this recording forever in
Yes,
case there ever is a
it's your
song.
proof.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Legally binding.
Yes.
No, actually, in reality, if you do write a song called Paper Straws and it happens to make any sort of profit, and you decide that you want to give me part of it, let's just donate it to charity, because I
Okay.
don't.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds good. I'm
I'm
down
trying
with
to
that.
motivate you to write the song.
Right. I know, and that's one piece of it that I really need to get back into, because I think that, like, I've been working on my voice, I've been working on social media, and that takes up so much time. And so I'm like, I cannot forget as an artist to continue writing, to keep that creativity going. And I realized too, after it being, some sort of stint of time that I haven't written, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I really feel like I need to do it." It's a part of me, and I have to do it. So, yeah,
I
so many
listened
things.
to yeah, I listened to a podcast recently, and I'm gonna try to find it and send it to you. And it was a guy who, I believe he was just a writer. Like, I think he wrote books.
Wow,
He's a
yeah,
writer. And his advice to people in the creatives is just to do it, and do it daily.
yeah,
And so, I think it's important for people especially musicians, or people who are actually creating art, to sit down every day with their instrument, and even if you don't write a hit song, if you write a hook that you can save for later,
Yeah.
or a concept that you can save for later, or even if you write a really bad song but you just keep that muscle going, I think it's really
Yes.
important, because
Yes.
I think it's, from my perspective, whenever I don't do an interview for a while, when I do finally do an interview, it's very choppy. So I have to constantly, even if I have no interviews planned, I have to go out and practice and like interview the barista at Starbucks, or interview some random guy,
Yeah.
as I'm walking down the street, just so I can continuously have this skill honed up. And
Yes.
so I would challenge you, and you can say challenge accepted or not, but take some time, over the next, we're approaching, June here pretty
Yeah.
soon, but maybe take the month of June and just try to write a hook a day,
Yeah.
and just challenge yourself. Set aside 30 minutes, and if it sucks, it sucks, and just bank it away. You never know when that idea might pop up down the line.
Yes. Challenge accepted. Yes.
All right. I'm gonna check in with you on July 1st and say, "Hey, this song's gonna be right."
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Love
then,
it.
the good thing with that too is, if you do find a couple of gems, you can translate that into some TikTok content.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
that's what I love seeing, is like Charlie Puth. He did, and he created this whole new genre of like, here's the idea that I have. Let's construct it together, and you kind of film the process.
Yeah.
For you, on the content creation side, how much of your day is actually consumed by creating content?
Oh gosh. Including, like, the process of uploading and, like,
Yeah, all of it.
all of it. I would say 3, 4 hours,
A day?
I think.
Jesus.
Like, probably 3 for sure. Because my brain is always like, "Oh, I gotta do the next video, and then I gotta edit this video, and then I gotta plan for next week, and then, like, okay, I gotta learn this song for this and all this stuff." Yeah. So,
Do you give yourself time to not think about the creative side of it?
honestly, over the I think last Sunday, I decided it was Mother's Day. I
Mhm.
decided to I'm not gonna do any videos. I'm not gonna really even look at my phone. I am just gonna be present with my mom, but also I'm just gonna sit here on the couch and try not to feel guilty, you know? So, yeah, it's just I'm the type of person, I love it. I love to be busy and I love doing it, but also I do have to step away because I think it can be you might lose it a little bit, or because I think there was one point last week I was like, "I feel like I'm just trying so hard." Like, I just need a minute, take a step back, and just remember, "Okay, my why. Why am I doing this? Okay, I'm doing it because I feel called to do it. I love people. I want to get my music, get this out to as many people as possible." And so, yeah, it's a crazy process, but
Yeah. What I've learned is to bank as many pieces of video as possible, and then just release them as I go, as
yeah.
opposed to trying to create a whole new piece of content every day, when it comes to the mental strain of it. Like, if
Yeah.
you're in a great spot where you're like, "Hey, I feel great. I'm happy. My, you know, 9 to 5 is good. My whatever relationships that I'm, pouring into is good.
Mhm.
Creatively, I'm writing music and everything's good, and I can create this content every day." Great. Bank stuff for when the days come that you're just like, "I just want to chill today."
Yeah.
Or, "I'm burned out, so I'm going to force myself to chill."
Yeah.
You have something in the bank that you can just upload and not have to think about it twice. Uh,
Yes.
and what I've learned too is, for the most part, the people who are your true audience and your true followers and people who really believe in what you're doing, they'll understand if you reuse a video or if you don't upload at all, because you know what? I just need a day.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I love about building a good community, which is what it
Yes.
seems like you're building.
Thank you.
I was looking at some of the comments on your last live, and I don't think I saw one negative comment.
Wow. Well, I did have a moderator, so
Well, maybe the moderator's just really good at their job. But like, for the most part, even with mods,
Yeah.
you still see people that will make
Mhm.
fun of, whatever, and
Yeah.
they'll make a comment about, especially when it comes to females, for some reason, it's, people like to pick on females
Yeah.
and make comments about whatever. And I didn't see anything, even stuff
Mhm.
that got blocked, like that could have gotten blocked. I was really happy just seeing people supporting what you were doing and requesting music, and just for the most part saying how great of a singer you were.
Mm.
So you're doing something right on that side of
Thank
things.
you. It is cool. I feel like something really cool and beautiful is happening in those TikTok lives, and somebody I've had a couple people, one person shared that they were diagnosed with cancer, and I told him, "Hey, I'm gonna be praying for you," and then people were commenting, sending prayers, like, "We're praying for you," and, like, just that encouragement. I was like, "Wow, that is so cool that this is an environment where it's encouraging," and, or they're just like, and there was somebody else too who did that as well, and it's yeah, I love what's happening, and, there are sometimes those comments that are, like, yeah, just rude, but I just have to ignore them, move on, and just yeah, shake it off pretty much.
Take it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I mean, at the end of the day, that's all you can do,
Yeah.
because if you acknowledge them, you give them power,
Yes.
which is a lesson that I've learned in old age, is if you feed trolls, they'll come back for more. Uh,
Yeah.
and then also, if you actually give it any room in your head,
Oh, yeah.
that's when it can turn dark.
Yeah, and there was one live, maybe one of the first or second, there was somebody was, like, saying that my pitch was not good or something, like, one of my strengths that I know that I have, and, sometimes I have my moments, but, it was, like, one strength that just I felt like they just kept commenting and commenting on that, and that was before I figured out actually how to have a moderator, but it was good learning though, because I was like, "No, that's not true. That's" you
Yeah.
know, "just move on, like, stop." And so but they were just incessant. It was like they were trying to wear me down. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do," but I was like, "You just keep going. You just keep singing and just try to get out of your head." So
Yeah, that's one of those moments where you're like, "Get behind me, Satan," because
yes, yes.
that's
Truly, I
straight.
was like, "Okay, God, help me help me do this." Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's sad that people have that much time to spend, just trolling people.
Right. And they like doing it, and I'm just like, "Well, maybe find something else to do."
Right, like, so I'll get in, like, internet wars with people, but I don't
Yeah.
seek 'em out. Like, I don't seek out any of the, people will just come and they'll comment on something, and I'll
Yeah.
be like, "Alright, you wanna throw down? Like, let me show you, like, what it's like to throw down with somebody like me," you know? Like, I will
Yeah.
tear you apart. But, I'm not, like, going around looking for people and being like, "Oh, you look
No.
stupid," Like, no, that's just not who I am. Like, I'll defend myself and defend my thoughts and defend my stances and, all that stuff,
Yeah.
but, I'm not gonna go out looking for fights because mama taught me, "Don't look for none if you don't want some."
Yeah,
You
exactly, and I would
Um,
not wanna be on the other side of that with you. I would not. I'm out, you win, whatever. No.
because I will, I tend not to insult people anymore, but I tend to, like, just completely tear apart their thoughts, because I'm like, "Okay, you're saying this, but, in the same sentence, you're saying that. How do you
Mhm.
reconcile?" And they're just like, and it just, for me, after a while, I just have to stop, because
Yeah.
that's when, like, they start insulting. I'm like, "Alright, if you start insulting somebody in a debate, then you lost the debate, so I'm just
Yeah.
gonna
Then
walk
you're like,
away."
"Okay."
I would
Yeah.
I Full disclosure, I would never, do that to you.
Yeah. No,
So,
I
'cause
know. Yeah.
you are a sweetheart of a person.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
one last thing that I wanna talk about,
Okay.
real quick, is because I've noticed this in your videos, and, it's the one thing outside of, like, your talent and just general entertainment that I notice, but you have a really great fashion sense.
Thank you.
Like,
That's so
I
nice.
I see your video, like the one video you did with your dad. I think it was a country, 80s country or 80s rock, whatever. You had a really cool top on. You're wearing a killer jacket right now.
Thanks. It's got some
Um,
fringe. You can't really see. Oh, there we go.
yeah, I need a version of that jacket for myself.
Yes.
Um, because I would wear that. And are you a wrestling fan at all? Have you ever watched any professional wrestling?
No, not
Okay.
really.
I'm gonna send you a video later of my favorite wrestler, and he has those like little things
Oh
on his
yeah,
arm.
the fringe. Okay.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna send that to you, and you'll be like, okay, you'll see exactly what I'll be doing
I
all
love
day.
it.
It's hilarious. But tell me a little bit more about like how you style yourself, because I think it's really, really incredible, and it fits a vibe.
Thank you.
It's not just having fashion sense for fashion sense sakes. It actually fits a vibe and fits the brand of which I believe you're trying to portray.
Thank you. Yeah, so I mean, I try to go for the more country look because that's my genre. So I'll just look online for stuff. I'll also one of my friends, Lindsay, she has her own boutique called Golden Road Boutique, and so this jacket is actually from her boutique, and so hers is very like Western wear type type stuff. Also Boot Barn. I like to shop at Boot Barn. I actually don't have real cowgirl boots yet though, so that needs to happen probably soon. So yeah, I also text my best friend too because I'm like, hey, what do you think of this? Do you think this is cute? And she'll be like, yeah, I love it. Or she'll be like, maybe not that one, maybe this one. So like I like to ask a couple people too that I know have really good fashion sense. And my friend Kaylyn in California who played guitar with me, she has amazing fashion. She got me into the like bell bottom flare jeans. And
Love it.
so, yeah, so I'm like, that kind of enhanced my look even more. So it's like, okay, we have something going here. So, yeah.
I love it. You have a good sense of style, and with the music and the overall vibe, it's a full package. And
Thank
I'm
you.
excited to be able to watch from a distance as your career, continues to move forward. Um, Real quick for people who are listening to the podcast version of this, I need to let you know that Kaylyn and I are going to continue this conversation briefly on TNN Radio. So this upcoming week, tnnradio.com, tune in for an exclusive portion of this interview that's going to air on that station. And also, I believe one of her songs will also be playing afterwards. So make sure to head over to tnnradio.com to catch the exclusive portion of this conversation. We're going to wrap up the podcast now. But is there anything else, any shows upcoming that you want to talk about briefly? Or I know you have scrunchies for sale.
Yes.
That like I'm excited. I'm gonna buy some. Not for me. Okay. My producer's probably going over there being like, is there something he's trying to say? No, it's for my girlfriend. I'm gonna buy her
I
some
love
scrunchies.
that. Aw.
It was her birthday and I need to buy her a present. So that's gonna be that'll be
That's
her present.
awesome.
But yeah, tell everybody what any shows that are coming up, any ways they can support you.
Yes. So I'm opening for Jake Owen
Oh
on June
yes, I
10th.
totally forgot about
No,
that.
you're good. You're
Oh my
good.
gosh. Okay, I'm sorry. We have to have that conversation real quick. So this is gonna be a bonus round. I totally
love
forgot
that.
about the Jake Owen thing. Tell me how that came to be, because that's really freaking big.
Thank you. Yes, I'm blown away. I'm so excited. So we have a friend who works for Stir Cove in Council Bluffs, which is a pretty big concert venue in my area, and it's one that I have dreamt of playing at since I started. And so it's a huge check off the bucket list. But he gave my mom a call, and he was like, I've been trying to keep Kaylyn in mind for some bigger shows, and we had this one come up. Like, how would she feel about opening for Jake Owen at Stir Cove? And the funny thing is that I was like, Mom, can I just like be in the conversation, but not like, can you put it on speaker and I'll just listen? And that was a bad idea because I was just like, oh my gosh, what? Like, I had to like get up from my chair and I almost like fell over on the couch. It was like, what? Just in that moment. But at the same time, it was like, wow, this is so cool. So I'm just super honored to open for him. I hear he's amazing. I've never seen him live yet, but I hear he's an awesome person. He has a great live show, and I'm super excited to be a part of it.
He's got a great team too, like a
Yeah.
great team of people, and I know I've had experience with people in the past who have opened for him on a couple of shows, and then his team kind of takes those artists and
Yeah.
so there's a lot of potential there.
That's so cool. And the other thing too is he wanted a local. He
Yeah, that's right.
specifically he specifically wanted that, and so I just think that's so cool. I'm like tucking that away. Remember that, and yeah, so cool.
Yeah, if you're ever in the position where you're looking for, opening acts at different shows,
Yeah,
local acts are the way to do it because it
and they help bring people as well
yeah,
to the show.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
a lot of times they don't tend to stick around,
right.
you
You
know,
get
but
yeah, we call it you get Omaha'd. So in Omaha, people will come for the opener because they know the local band, but then they'll leave. And I'm like, that's honestly so sad. I'm like, just stay for them. They came all this way. But anyways, yeah.
yeah, well, congratulations on that. That's huge.
Thank
And
you.
I hope that helps introduce you to a much wider audience
Mm,
of artists and
yeah,
just take advantage of it because
thank you.
it's a big deal. I have to figure out if I can get to Omaha on June 10th
Dude, that'd be
because
sick.
I would like to be there for that moment. That's like 2 weeks away.
Right,
Uh,
I know. It's crazy.
are you nervous?
Um, I haven't thought about it too much yet. I have my set all ready. I'm having rehearsals with my band starting on Monday. So I'm
Sweet.
excited. They're a great group of guys. The guys that I have, it's a miracle that they're even still in Nebraska with how talented that they are. My guitar player who played with me in Omaha, he moved to Nashville, but he's coming back for this show and I'm so grateful. I'm so excited to have him. Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, I just want to give you one little piece of advice.
Yes.
And first of all, let's take advantage of the moment, but take a second to take it in when you're on stage
Yes.
because those moments, there's certain days in your life that you'll look back on and be like, man, I was there, but I can't remember. And it tends to be like, like weddings, funerals, and like big events like this where there's so much anticipation for the day.
Yes.
And, depending on what the occasion is, sometimes you just want to get it over with. Sometimes you're just so excited to get on that stage. And then you forget to take a moment when you're on that stage and breathe in and just listen to the crowd, smell the aroma of the beer that's built,
Yeah.
and just
Right.
take that mental picture and be like, okay, this is a day that I'm gonna remember for the rest of my life, and potentially a day that helped change the course of your career.
Mm.
So take that moment and take it in.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for that.
And then with that, how can people support you?
Yeah, I love that. You can follow me on social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, at Kaylyn Sahs, KaylynSahs. And also you can go to my website as well and Kaylyn Music, no, KaylynSahs.com. Oh my gosh, it used to be Kaylyn Music. It's KaylynSahs.com. And you can get scrunchies, you can get merch if you want to check that out. That'd be awesome. All of it helps.
Awesome. Well, this has been the Ruben Jay Show. Make sure to head over to your favorite podcast platform, leave a 5-star review, and share this interview with someone you think that might enjoy the most random of conversations with an incredible artist. And with that, we'll be back next week with more. Stick around. Head over to tnnradio.com this week to listen to my exclusive portion of this conversation with Kaylyn.